everyone, it's Pam, and today I'm here with a review of a new controller that I just got. It is the HoriPad FPS Plus. If you've watched my videos before, you may know that I have very strong feelings about console controllers. While I do find the DualShock controllers are generally pretty solid, I prefer an asymmetrical layout for the sticks like the Xbox controllers have, which is my #1 complaint about the PlayStation controllers, and this is a gamepad, a third-party one, which solves that problem for me. So I thought I would just do a little bit of a show and tell and review of what I think of this now that I've had a chance to play with it for a little while. Alright, first of all, just comparing the size and shape to the PlayStation 4 controller. The HoriPad is obviously bigger. It's got a much sort of thicker body than the PlayStation 4 controller. This is going to sort of depend on the size and shape of your hands and what you prefer, but I do enjoy the grip on this larger controller better. I feel that it's a lot more comfortable to hold in my hands. It feels like an Xbox controller. Sort of the shape is kind of a cross between the Xbox controller and the Wii U Pro controller. Another difference, sorry, this light's on, these PlayStation controllers turn on so easily. The triggers and the bumpers are quite different. You notice on the PlayStation 4 it's got these fairly small triggers and bumpers where they are much larger on the HoriPad. Now on the HoriPad though, these buttons do look kind of square and they look kind of uncomfortable. They're actually not. I played with it for quite a while and they're actually pretty soft feeling. They don't dig into your fingers or anything. I also quite like the size on the bumpers. They work in such a way so no matter what your grip on the controller, whether you have a fairly loose grip and you're sort of hitting the edge, or whether you've got a tighter grip and you're hitting the inner edge or the middle of the button, any of those will fire properly, which I really like. Another improvement I find over the PlayStation 4 controller is that I think it's called throw distance. The throw distance of the bumpers and triggers is a bit, so you have to sort of push them down farther before they work for you, whereas these ones you have to put very little pressure on them in order to get them to work. Now in terms of the R2 and L2 buttons, I don't find them quite as good as like the actual trigger on an Xbox controller, but I do still find them better than the ones on the DualShock 4 or the DualShock 3 even. Now one thing about the feel of the controller is that it's quite light. It's much lighter than the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One controllers, and that's because it doesn't have a battery pack. As you can see, it is wired. Being wired is a bit of a con, but you need to plug it in to get it to work. However, the wire is long. It's about 10 feet long, so you can still be a fair distance away from your TV and your console, and you don't have to worry about charging batteries, which is nice. The lightness, I definitely got used to it after a little while, so it's not something that bothered me. In terms of the actual sticks, they feel nice. They don't have that stupid ridge around them that the newer controllers have, and they seem a lot more durable than the PlayStation 4 sticks. I know at least on one of mine the grips have started wearing off, and in one case, like, my grip has come completely off. These seem a little bit more durable. They don't have any sort of edges to catch on that'll get worn really easily. One of the good things about this controller, especially if you're playing FPS games or even third-person shooters, any action games, there is a target button on the back here. So when you're playing, you can hold down this target button, and then you'll see here there's a little switch which will adjust the sensitivity. So you can adjust the sensitivity as you like there, and then when you're playing a game, you hold down the target button and you'll either be able to move and track things faster or slower depending on how you have it set. Alright, just a little demo using Tomb Raider. This first is just the normal aiming of the right stick, which can go pretty quickly. And now turning on the target setting 1, you see it slows right down. So if you're aiming at something at a distance, sniping something, it'll be easier to track movement. This is setting 2, which goes a little bit faster than setting 1, but still offers some more control. And finally, setting 3, which goes faster still, but still not quite as fast as without the target button. There's also another switch here, and that's just for whether you're playing on a PlayStation 4 or a PlayStation 3. Just switch that based on what you're playing. It does have the trackpad, like the PlayStation 4 controller has. Now, there are a few things that this gamepad is missing compared to the PlayStation 4 controller. For one, there is no headphone jack, which I know could be a problem for some people, not so much a problem for me. It's missing the light bar at the top, which honestly, that's a plus for me. I find it kind of obnoxious. It does not have a motion sensor in it, which I think could be the biggest problem, although I don't know of too many games that use the motion sensor. I think Until Dawn is one of the only ones I can recall on PlayStation 4 where I had to use that. Also, there is no rumble or vibration feature. But if you can get over those things, there are a lot of pros, some of which I've already mentioned. Again, if you prefer the asymmetrical layout of the sticks, this is a big improvement over the DualShock 3 or 4. The controller feels nice if you've got larger hands or if you just prefer a larger controller. It's much more comfortable to hold, I find, than the PlayStation 4 controller. There is the shorter throw distance on the buttons, so they are more reactive than the PlayStation 4 triggers and bumpers. It has all the other features like the options and the share and the trackpad. You can also remap your buttons with the assign button here. There's another video which I found. The instructions for this are all in Japanese, so it's not that easy to know how to use, but I'm going to link to it in the description, and it goes over how to remap your buttons, which is very helpful, I found. There's also this turbo button here, and I was going to demo that, but then I thought I couldn't think of a modern game that actually needs a turbo button. I know that was a big thing for some retro games, but as far as I can think of, pretty much all modern games have it so that if you just hold down the fire button, it fires continuously. There's not a whole lot of need for a turbo button. So in general, I am very happy with my HoriPad FPS Plus. It is something that I will be using on PlayStation 4 rather than the DualShock 4, unless it's for a game that requires the motion controls. It's much more comfortable to hold, and it's much more responsive, and for playing action games, this target button in the back is pretty cool. So if you are someone who prefers the layout and size and feel of an Xbox controller, but still want to play PlayStation games, I recommend this wholeheartedly. It's a pretty good purchase, I think, and it seems quite durable as well. Now, since this is made in Japan, I don't know of any local sellers who sell it, so you're going to have to order this online, and I believe it retails for $50 plus whatever shipping and taxes you're going to have to pay. If you have any questions about the controller that I haven't answered, feel free to leave me a comment and I will try to answer them as best as I can. And if you like this video, please do like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.